If you've been wanting to make the perfect sourdough rolls, or Sauerteigbrötchen as we call them in German, this video is for you. If you follow my recipe to a T with a few key important steps, you will also create light, airy, perfectly domed sourdough rolls that are not even sour, but have a nice, complex, beautiful flavor and are properly fermented, so they're a lot easier to digest than your regular yeast or baking powder rolls. If you've been following me along my channel, you might know that I like to wing things a little bit, but I can tell you from my own experience that doesn't work so much with these rolls if you want them to be perfectly round and not just flat. For this recipe, we need a very active sourdough starter, and I've had best success with a ratio of 1% sourdough starter, 5% water, or 5 parts water and 5 parts flour, which is 10 grams of starter, 50 grams of flour, and 50 grams of water. And to make it super active, I actually did that twice. I removed 10 grams from this starter, and after having let that sit and ferment for a bit, I did that again to make sure it is super active. You want a starter that is more than 4 hours, but less than 12 hours. And I always like to use my Sour House Goldie. The link for that is in the description box if you'd like to find it. It keeps the sourdough starter at the optimal temperature. Sour House also has another exciting product, which is the sourdough bed, not the sourdough bed. It's not officially out yet, but once it is, I will refresh the link in the description box below. It keeps the dough at the optimal temperature, and for these rolls, it's actually perfect. I'm creating an autolyse, which is just water and flour, and the full recipe is in the description box below, so you don't need to take any notes here, and you can get the recipe online. Anyhow, I'm just creating a shaggy dough, and I'm letting that sit for 30 minutes to just let the flour hydrate. After 30 minutes, I'm adding the sourdough starter, and this is exactly what I was looking for. Big bubbles, light, airy, and super active. Adding that to the dough, and now I need to incorporate that, and it's going to be very sticky. And I'm going to show you here just how sticky it is. So to encourage you to not give up if you feel like it's too sticky, do not be tempted to add any flour here, because that will not help your dough. That will actually be counterproductive, and sometimes all it really needs is some time. I like to do a 10-minute knead here. Theoretically, you could do it in your stand mixer. I didn't mind doing it in this dough bowl because it has the perfect shape. Once I have done my 10 minutes of kneading, I'm going to do 10 minutes of rest. And here is the dough again. It's very sticky, but it will come together. I will show you that later in this video. It's a little messy. Then I'm adding the salt, and now I need to incorporate the salt. But this is really where it all comes together, because it has rested for a bit and the gluten has developed, which you will see, like I said, just in a moment. So just give it time. If it's too sticky, you can always actually, which sounds counterproductive, but you can always wet your hands, but you don't really need to. And I don't mind working the dough. It makes me feel be in touch with my dough, and I also think it really helps the sourdough rolls. See how it comes together? It's only sticking to the bowl so much because the bowl isn't perfectly cleaned. It has bits and pieces of crusted flour and water on there. But now we're going to let it rest. This is the bulk fermentation. What I love about the dough bed is that the base here is heating it up to 28 degrees Celsius, which is, 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're letting the dough rise in there for 6 hours. It has probably doubled in size. I didn't measure, but this is what it looks like. Very active, big bubbles, exactly what we want. And now I just need to get it out of the bowl. And by the way, these bowls are shaped after traditional bowls that people used in Europe. I have an antique one from my grandparents that's exactly the same shape, except it's wooden. But I'm going to do another video once this product is out and available for everybody. I got it during a Kickstarter campaign and show you exactly how it works and all the features. Now I'm going to flour my work surface to get the dough out and to pre-shape the rolls. Again, it is a little sticky, but not too bad. It's not super sticky on my hands. A little bit of flour here will actually help. I'm going to shape 9 rolls, and I found that for some reason with my digital scale, having about 115, 118 grams is perfect to make 8 rolls. And unfortunately, this is a little bit out of the frame. Sometimes, you know, with technology and the camera and everything, it's not really in the frame, but I'm stretching it and folding it over a little bit to create a little bit of surface tension. You'll see that again in just a little bit. And then I'm pinching it together so that actually it maintains the round shape. This is what we want. We don't want little pizzas. We want rolls that are perfectly round. Here you can see it. I'm pulling it a little bit and shaping it into an oval and pinching the bottom together to make sure that it stays in this round shape. I have a linen cloth here, or linen tea towel that's very gently floured. I'm going to let them rise for maybe 60 to 90 minutes, and then I will invert them, flip them over onto a baking sheet. You can also use parchment paper. I'm using silicone here. And my scoring needs some practice. I know that you're supposed to be doing it in just one motion, but for some reason I'm always doing the seesaw, and oh well, that's something that I need to practice, but I think the result is still good enough. And then I like to spray the surface of my rolls with water to make sure that the crust is not forming before they have perfectly risen. The oven here has been preheated to 500 degrees, which is quite a bit, and I have a cast iron, small, tiny skillet down there, and I'm adding ice cubes to it to create steam, and then I bake the sourdough rolls for 25 minutes. Let's check them out. Ooh, I love them. I love how they turned out. They're not evenly browned. Every oven is different. Apparently mine browns a little bit more on one side than the other, but I did actually turn the baking tray around halfway through the baking process to mitigate that a little bit. But yes, they look perfect, and the hard part is allowing them to cool down before you can actually touch them and try them. Here they are. Domed, round, perfectly shaped. Oh, so good. They're perfectly crunchy, airy on the inside, full of holes, light, and actually they're a lot better with just a little bit of butter. Butter always makes it better, right? Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.